So in this video, I'm going to talk about one car that seems to be surging in terms of demand. And because the demand has went high, criminals are starting to take advantage of this and they're selling this car for a lot of scams. That car is the Toyota Tazz, which is, in my opinion, one of the best cars that you can get, especially if you are a hustler. So when I read from Car Mag, they say that the Toyota launched the venerable Tazz essentially as an entry-level conquest in 1996, and the car sold for 35,505, which was rivaling the City Golf in October of that year. What the Tazz lacked in features, think along the lines of rear wiper, cigarette lighter, power steering, and air conditioning. It made up for with reliability and longevity. The fact that so many of the original pre-facelift models are still providing affordable motoring to South African masses bears the testament to this. And this is an article from 2013, by the way. It's 2024 now, and Toyota Tazz is still something that is in demand, which if you look at the specs of the Toyota Tazz, you will find that the power of the engine is a carburetor of 1.3 liter with 4 cylinders, and with the car that I'm reviewing here, it's a 4-speed forward. I don't know if all Tazzes are 4-speed forward, but they might all be 4-speed forward. And then the Tazz was by no means a firecracker with top speed of 156 kilometers and 0 to 100 kilometers sprint in 14 seconds. But unfortunately, the fuel economy were and still are the Tazz's real hallmarks. So when it comes to fuel assumption, it is a really good option. You don't want to be buying a car that's going to cost you a lot when it comes to when it comes to fuel consumption, because you're trying to make as much money as you possibly can. But what I'm going to say, when it comes to a Tazz, I don't care what kind of price you get it for. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, where you buy it from. If you're buying it from a dealership or if you're buying it privately from a person, as soon as you buy that car, take it to a mechanic, or actually come with a mechanic when you buy it privately, especially. And if you are buying it from a car dealership, of course, you can negotiate the price to probably the price that they actually want to sell it for. And after you buy that car, take it to mechanic and make sure that all the mechanical aspects of that car is inspected. And after that is done, you do a service on the car. And if you need to do an engine overhaul, you do that as well. But we all know that the Toyota makes its engine to be robust as fuck, and pardon my French. These are some of the pros to driving a Toyota. The other pros is that it's relatively cheap to maintain, it's easy to drive, and it's very reliable. Every Toyota Tazz driver out there will tell you that it's a very reliable car. So I don't think that this is a car that is not a good option if you are a hustler. Now, with the Toyota Tazz, the sales to date amount to 200,000 units and slightly more than that. And since the introduction of the Tazz, a fierce battle with the VW City Golf has been going on. So I'll talk about some of the cons of trying to get yourself a Toyota Tazz. In most cases, to find one that is in good condition and in a good price is very difficult. And remember, I did mention that scammers or criminals are taking advantage of the fact that so many people are now looking to buy a Toyota Tazz, and therefore they will steal your money if you're not careful. So be careful when you are buying a Toyota Tazz privately. And if you are buying from a place like Marketplace, ensure that you don't send anyone money until you see the car, until you test drive the car and you are with the mechanic. Do not pay forward without seeing the car. If somebody wants you to pay a deposit or a holding deposit without you seeing a car, they are probably scamming you. Another con that is my least favorite when it comes to this car is that it's actually quite easy to steal. And the reason it's so easy to steal, I think maybe Toyota didn't spend too much time on the security features of this car, and they just wanted to focus mostly on reliability side of things. So this car is used for taxis in multiple areas in South Africa, and this is why it's also in high demand. Your car may be stolen in Springs if you are in Gauteng, the East Rand, and then it becomes a taxi in Limpopo. Or it can be stolen in Limpopo, taken to Springs to become a taxi. So This is one of the things that I actually don't like about the Toyota Tazz is that it is quite easy to steal. But getting one that is in good condition is also very, very difficult. And in my opinion, even if you don't get it in a very good condition, because it's so cheap, I mean, it's relatively affordable to take care of this car. Let's say you find it for about 20,000 rands or 30,000 rands. In my opinion, I'd say spend another 15 to 20 to ensure that this car is in top condition. One mistake that many people do when they buy a car from a dealership, especially, or they buy it from somebody where they think this car was taken good care of, is after taking it, they do not work on the car. Listen, these are old cars, and my philosophy is that with an old car, when you buy it, fix as much as you can in the car. And that's pretty much my least favorite things about this car. There might be other cons to driving this. I've heard some people saying that it's underpowered, but they say it's underpowered because it doesn't reach speeds that most or other cars modernly can reach. The Toyota Tazz was replaced. I think nowadays we have the iGear and the Toyota Etios, and these are also good cars to buy, and they obviously the price is a bit higher. So if your budget is somewhere 70,000 or less, I'll say get a Toyota Tazz. And if you go to a car dealership and you find that car going for, let's say, 60,000 rand, negotiate that car as much as you possibly can. If it gets to 50 or 45,000, that would be great. But remember, if you have that 70,000 budget or 60,000 budget, you found it for 60,000 at a car dealership and you managed to negotiate it all the way to, let's say, 45, maybe 49, 50, that sounds reasonable. That rest of the money that you had, don't expect that you're going to spend it on other things. I would say spend it back into the Toyota Tazz to ensure that you restore as much of the mechanical aspects of it as possible. And if you are into stands, if you are into cosmetics of the car, obviously you can go for that. One of the things that I like about the car actually is the boot space. The boot space is quite big. So if you are selling out of your car, you're running a business out of your car, you have that boot space. And another thing is that you can also install a tow bar so that you can have more space. Some of them you will buy them, and the previous owner did install a tow bar, whether from the dealership originally or they did it themselves. So you can have that as an advantage. And again, you buy yourself a small trailer so that you can work out of your car. So that is it with the Toyota Tazz video. And if you do like this kind of content rather, ensure that you hit the likes button. It helps with the algorithm, and obviously do subscribe to the channel. There's more videos coming soon.